Hello, everyone. Stephanie Zima here, My Way of Life Coaching. And today I'm going to talk about I feel like I'm faking confidence all the time. If that is you, you are not alone. Let me fix my camera here. I'm sorry. There we go. I think this is better, right? All right. So I'm faking confidence all the time. If this is you, if that thought has crossed your mind, you are not alone. So many online entrepreneurs that are forcing themselves to post, to show up on social media, to have a live video, to be part of the online world, so to speak, right? We are forcing ourselves to show up in a way that maybe is not quite aligned with us. And that is doable for just a few days at a time, maybe for that little short challenge that you're doing, or maybe the couple of weeks that you can muster up that encouragement and that motivation, but then it dies down and you end up in the very same place as you've been before. Why is that? Have you ever thought why that is? It's because your belief about who you are, what you're here to do, does not match your output, okay? Or actually, it matches your output, but it doesn't match the output of the person that you are desiring to be. This is where the problem is. Your identity does not match. So, if you have watched anything that I've been teaching, it's always about you have a thought, some belief system in your brain about who you are, the identity that you have formed has been controlling your actions every single day, your habits, your actions, your feelings. All of that is being driven by thoughts that you're having in your brain, right? Some of those thoughts are conscious, and some of those, actually most of the thoughts, are non-conscious. They're subconscious. They are not even anywhere that you can grasp them. And that is why you're having such a hard time even making a change, right? You just know you're in pain. You know you are struggling with self-doubt. You know you're struggling with imposter syndrome. You know that you're comparing yourself with everybody else. You know that, everybody is seeming to do better than you are, but you seem to not be able to do it. It's because you don't believe you can. There is a thought in you that says, I doubt that I can. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I have the skills. I don't think that I'm cut out for this, even though you desire it to be this way, right? And when you get encouraged, like you're going to a company event, or your boss is saying something nice about you, or you have a success moment of any kind, you get this jolt of dopamine, this small little glimpse of I can maybe do it. Maybe I can, right? Because you're hoping that to be true. And I'm going to be here to tell you today that yes, you can actually, regardless if this is only a little small glimpse, if you believe that there is something inside of you that allows you to grow, that allows you to be willing to show up in Suckville, so to speak, that's when you can do it. Okay? If you're willing to show up, vulnerable the way how you are, if you are willing to just show up and be taught, that's when you know that you can do it. Now, I know a little bit, a thing or two about Sackville. Let me explain this to you for a minute. You guys, my pattern is something that I see myself subconsciously as somebody that can do things, right? But then I end up realizing that the reality is really not that case, right? I'm just somehow thinking I can do it. Like with CrossFit, for example, I'm thinking I totally can jump on that bar and do all these pull-ups, and then the reality is a little bit different. So then I get there and I try it and I can't do it. And out of the sudden, that emotion, that disappointment in myself, that disconnect between what I somehow believe about myself to what the reality is, that is so painful for me that I then end up then coming up with excuses as to why I can do it, why I can work for it, and I have two patterns. One is making the excuses, and one is hustling so hard. See, you have to be very tricky with your mind. You have to pay really close attention. So my second pattern, the one that I've been working and operating on my entire life, is that I would be so strict with myself and so disciplined, and I would be so forceful with energy that I got myself injured every single time. And what happened is when I get injured, I let myself get off the hook. And this was a pattern that I've been operating on for years and years and years and years. And it's something that wasn't conscious to me, but it felt so much nicer to say, I can't do it because I'm injured, or I can't do it because X, Y, and Z, rather than me taking smaller, slower steps, right? Because I could not bear the fact that I can't do it. On the surface, I can. On the surface, I could say, sure, I can't do it yet. That's fine. Nobody could. Like, I would make these excuses about myself to justify my shortcomings. But deep inside, okay, and I'm talking to you, I'm very open here with you guys because I want to give you permission to really look inside your heart. If you do not look at that shame, if you do not look at what's really underneath you, what drives you really, you will never make you will never come out of that shell. You will continue to make these excuses. You will continue to waste your life away. And that is not what Walk It Free is. Walk It Free is to be honest with yourself, to really look into the deepest and darkest corners of your heart and say, wait a minute, what is going on here? Like, without shame, because here's the thing. Shame is the underlying condition or the underlying feeling for your perfectionism, you not wanting to show up, all of these excuses, so to speak, right? All because you feel some kind of shame. I felt so much shame of not being good enough, not disappointing my family, disappointing my mom. Like, I felt like I was this big, huge failure, right? So that shame feeling was unbearable for me. And it probably originated sometime in childhood when I just didn't want to be everybody's disappointment. So I was trying to so hard to outperform, that this pattern that I had adapted as a survival mechanism, that pattern was going through everything. It was going through my work. It was like, instead of making 5 reach outs consistently every single day, I would try to make 100. And then I would go 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and I would quit. And I was like, why? I am not scared of reaching out to people. I am not scared to talk to people. But you know what it was? It was literally that shame. It was a cycle of subconscious avoidance of this shame feeling, this I'm going to let somebody down if I don't make it. So I'd rather come up with some ways, shapes or forms of excuses as to why it's not working. But in the end, it was literally the fact that I had to be embracing Suckville for a minute, take the risk of being a big, huge disappointment to everybody, but sticking with something so small that it's not talk worthy, right? It's not post worthy. It's not anything. See, and this is what they are talking about when they're talking about you have to do the work, the inner work in the dark room. This is what they mean. It's this really hidden, this work, the shadow work that nobody really wants to talk about. It's a shadow work of digging around in your shame, digging around in your insides of, why am I doing this? What is my pattern? What is going on? What am I thinking about this? What do I really believe about myself to be true? Do you know? Do you know what you think about yourself to be true? Because I don't think you do. Okay? We hear these things all over the place from all these mentors. We hear it starts with belief. You have to be consistent. X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. We hear this all over the place. But do we really understand what that means? Probably not. Okay? And this is what it means. You have to figure out, what is your thought? What is your unique pattern? Mine was, like I told you, either being so strong that I got to be injured. Okay, because see, when you do something over and over, you have a payoff. There is a benefit to you. You have to understand that. And I was sitting with this for a long time, thinking to myself, what is the benefit of me being injured? What is the benefit of me not being able to do the things? And it's to get myself relief. Relief from feeling shame that I might fall short of what I wanted to do. I might fall short of the approval of my coaches. I might fall short of the success that I'm hoping to get. Okay? Well, is this similar? Does it ring a bell for you? Drop me a note in the comment. Can you resonate with this at all? I know you probably don't want to talk about shame. Shame is something that we go hush, hush, hush about it, right? We stuff it in the corner. But you know what? I'm here to talk it free. I am here to literally say, screw everybody else's opinions, screw their judgment, screw their thoughts of like what should be right and what should be wrong. This Suckville needs to be talked about. Okay. And it needs to be talked about because we are all in it. And unless you decide that you want no longer to be rolling around in the swamp soul life, you got to get in there, got to figure out what's weed and what's not a weed, what is good and what should I keep and what should I get rid of. Okay. You got to get in there for a minute and orientate yourself. And then you got to take what you've learned about the swampland of your soul and you got to start putting in action a plan that will get you out of it. Okay, that will get you out of it. And that is work that needs to be done within yourself. Now, this is why, my friends, I offer this coaching program a little bit different than everybody else. Yes, it's a group. However, I let you watch the replays. You do not have to be on a live call if you don't want to, because it is work that needs to be done in secret, maybe. Okay. But I do expect you to participate. I do expect you to send me your questions. I do expect you to work with this content and basically within the group setting, work in a one-on-one relationship. Okay, that is what my coaching is all about. This is what my mentorship is all about, and it's only $27. And I did it so you don't have the excuse of I can't afford it. You can afford it totally, right? Everybody can afford $27, and if not, you have no business going to Starbucks or anywhere else, because you know what? This is where it's going to change your life. You cannot build an empire. And I'm going to just lay it out here because that's the cold hard truth. You cannot build an empire of any kind, right? You can sit there and you can talk about how you want to do all these millions and how you want to, afford this and X, Y, and Z. But you know what? You are not going to be able to until you get to the bottom of what is holding you back. Until you get to the bottom of why you're not doing your reach outs, until you get to the bottom of why you are not asking the question to be people to sell what you have to sell. You are not getting to anything until you have a rein on yourself. See, how can you lead a company if you don't even lead your morning routine? Think about it. How can you want to represent people in a team, be a team leader, if you can't get your kids to brush their teeth? Think about it. Okay. So this is where we have to have a little bit come to church and come to Jesus kind of meeting with ourselves and say, you know what? I really want my life to matter. I really want to matter to people. I really want something to happen. I don't want to die without anybody remembering my name. And that includes my children, right? If my children are going to say one day, oh, I'm so glad she's gone, that's awful. I would not want to do that. But I also want them equipped to do what they need to do for their life and to have a legacy that way. Okay. So I want my life to matter. I don't know about you, but this is why I walk it free. Because yes, of course, we want to build a business because we need to have money to have time. We need to have money to have options. We need to have money to pay the bills. We have to have money. That's it, right? Everybody needs to work and do something. However, we are also need to have quality of life. We also need to have good relationships. We also need to have a good, solid relationship with ourselves, because let's get real. If we are not healthy, we have nothing. Okay. So what I'm saying here is, do not fake the confidence, right? Rather work it. Learn what your shame is all about. Learn how your shame is keeping you from the things that you want to reach in your life, and from the actions that you need to take to get there. Work with your shame, and then start taking the steps consistently. So embracing Sackville for me is literally making sure that I will stand up every single day and doing X, Y, and Z, whatever I have in my routine, to do it every single day. Small, little, tiny steps, but they have to be daily. Okay. And that is so much harder than you think, because these old patterns, these old demons that you have running with you, they want to keep you distracted. Like right now, I'm dealing with a bunch of brain fog where I'm like, what is going on? And it's like, you know what it is? It's those demons fighting for my attention. Okay, I am about to break through on my next level, and it's just like, this is what happens, right? You can see when things don't go your way, that's when you're being tested. This is when you're being tested, and you are going to try, 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 try. And so, you know what? I've caught this pattern as well, right? Because I'm a pattern reader. I caught this pattern as well. Every single time I'm about to break through a plateau, or I'm about to break to the next level, and out of the sudden, everything just seems to be, my technology doesn't work, or this doesn't work, or somebody gets sick, or whatever it is, or the dog has an issue with the leg. Like, there's always something that happens. And it's always right before I break through to the next level. And it's those demons that are trying to test you, whether or not you are going to stay strong in your convictions, whether or not you're going to stay strong in what you said you're going to do, if you have the perseverance, if you have the resilience. And because I read those patterns, I know, laugh it off, right? I laugh it off. I'm like, oh my gosh, can you just give it up already? Because I am not going to quit. It's fine. You know what? I'm going to tackle every single obstacle that is coming into my path. I will tackle every single one of you. And this is an identity that I am adapting, right? I am embracing Sackville. I am embracing the feelings that are coming with this. I'm embracing the fear. I'm embracing the doubt. I'm embracing the imposter. And I'm taking small steps. And that, my friend, is where you get super confident, and it's authenticity. This is authenticity because you've been doing the reps. You've been working on it. You're working on it. You're working on it. And you're working some more on it. And eventually you're going to do it in muscle memory. You're going to do it in muscle memory. This is why I go live here all the time, by the way. It's because I want to learn how to keep the focus through a topic without notes, by the way. Okay. It's a skill that I'm working on for myself. And if it can help you, then the better, right? But that is what I'm doing. I'm working on keeping the focus on a skill. And small little steps every single day. That's what we do, right? So if you want to learn what you can do today to get started, I have a free video training that I really want to share with you. It's down here. I think maybe it's running. No, it's not running. www.walkitfree.com/mindset. It's a small little trainings video that will teach you exactly what you need to do to overcome and get started on what you are dealing with. All right. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, what your feedback is, and if you have watched this in the replay. Okay? I'll see you.